All right. So, welcome to this video. It's quite interesting that that with the specific video, because let me tell you what happened is that I started to, well, I actually I recorded the whole video, and then for some reason it just wouldn't work. No matter what I did, it just wouldn't work, which was quite interesting because with these videos that I'm doing is I am giving you feedback on my 15 days theta healing intuitive anatomy coaching. So this is the second time around that I am doing this, and it has been an incredible journey. I've been doing theta healing for just about a year now, and I am retaking the intuitive anatomy coaching, which is 15 days, 5 days on, 2 days off, 5 days on, 2 days off, and another 5 days on, because your system needs time to integrate the information that you are taking on. And it's actually quite incredible. All right. Now, this is probably going to show in reverse, but because this is a live. But for those of you that are watching all the videos that I'm giving you every day, and there are such helpful nuggets in there for you. This is the book that I spoke about yesterday, You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza. An amazing, amazing, amazing piece of work. It really, really is incredible. Now, I just want to see what it looks like, the live stream, because I haven't really done a live stream on YouTube in a very, very long time. So I just want to make sure that it's streaming nicely and it's streaming correctly. And so I just want to give you some feedback, pretty much on what has been going on, with this beautiful journey. So I've just finished day 5. I'm currently, taking a break. As I said, we take a little bit of a breather in between them. And I don't know, I can't see this now. I'm just going to do it. All right. Anyway, so day 5, we speak about the respiratory system. So the lungs come in quite a bit. And, the lungs hold grief, and it holds sorrow, and it holds pain, and, it holds all those type of things. And the question is, how do you breathe? Now, as before, I'm going to do a beautiful guided session for you at the end of this. It's going to be a beautiful session just to balance yourself, just to cleanse and to clear. That is at the end. So stay with this video till the end so that you can see that. But you know what? It's such a beautiful, beautiful thing to look at when we see what is blocking me. Because here's the question. What is blocking you? What is giving you stress? When we feel overwhelmed and stuff like that, it's like our chest tightens and things like that and closes. And the reason also I said it's so interesting today that, that we're doing this, because, as I said, I pre-recorded this whole video and then it just wouldn't show. And, usually if something like that happens, I will get so freaking annoyed about it, And today I was just like, oh, you know what? That's what happened. Accept it. Is what it is. So welcome to this video. My name is Adrian Nelson. I am a very, very proud theta healing practitioner. And I just want to give you some feedback on the coaching for day 5, which is amazing. All right. So respiratory system, it's all about breathing. How do you breathe? Because the breath goes in through the nose and the sinuses, down the throat, the larynx, the lungs, and all of those type of things. But then it also goes into the blood, and it takes pretty much everything, everywhere where it needs to go. But here's the thing. When we don't breathe properly, so in other words, when we don't breathe deep down, now we live in a world that is so stressed and it's so tense and there's so many things going on that we don't really breathe properly. We don't fill our lungs with breath, and then it makes your abdominal sort of like area expand and you release the breath like, do you know how many toxins you can actually remove from your body by just consciously breathing deeper, just a couple of times a day, in through the nose, hold the breath, and out through the mouth. You get your whole system going, and you don't breathe properly, nothing actually works. Nothing works properly. So I'm going to share a lot of golden nuggets with you in this session. If it's your first time here, welcome. Coming back, welcome back. Thank you for your support. It's really awesome to have you. If you haven't yet done so, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Really, really appreciate that. If you are a fellow Theta Healing practitioner, I'd really like to hear from you. If you're interested in studying Theta Healing, I can highly, highly recommend my Theta Healing instructor, Nia Nell. She is amazing. There's a link for her in the description. All right. Really, really cool. Oh, I need to switch this off. Sorry, just a moment. Sorry. So I'm still here. I am cooking beautiful food for my doggy, because you know the things that you get in the grocery stores, they're not always all that healthy. So I'm cooking beautiful food for my doggy. All right. So let's see what we got. Okay. So I just want to, something that really keeps us blocked is that we don't forgive. We don't let go. We hold on. And remember, if you looked at the previous, lessons and things that I've uploaded, feedback from this coaching, you would have heard me say that, we hold on to things because it gives us something. We get something from it. That's why we hold on. All right. It serves us somehow. And to the mind, it somehow keeps you safe. Hence the reason you hold on. All right. So know that whatever you're holding on to, you are getting something from that. And so when it comes to the journey of forgiveness, what we want to do is we want to understand, what do we get from what we're holding on to? How does it serve us? Ultimately, how does it keep us safe? Because we hold on to it, because it gives us something. So when we want to go in there and we just want to cut cords and release things and let it go, your system can easily think that it's under attack, and then it retaliates. Okay. The thing to remember is that, with the lungs, dealing a lot with grief and sorrow, that always comes from fear. There was some sort of fear going on. There was some sort of inconsistency going on. You didn't feel safe, especially if you were a child. Your mind didn't know how to deal with things, and so maybe as a child, you were presented with some sort of trauma, some sort of fear, a lack of limitation. You didn't get the support, and your mind didn't know how to cope with it. It couldn't process it because it didn't understand it. So it had to find a coping mechanism. And that's usually where we take on the mask of either a victim or a savior or a perpetrator. I spoke about that in, I think it was yesterday, was it? Or was it the day before yesterday? I think the day before yesterday, day number 3. I really, really broke those down for you, so you can go and have a look at that. Okay? So a couple of things. A lot of times when we feel overwhelmed, when we've got grief, when we've got unprocessed feelings and emotions, we feel them in the lungs. And we feel like our chest is tight. I can't breathe. I don't know what to do. Funny enough, when people want to stop smoking, I would recommend to them that they breathe in very deep, like fill their lungs with air, like, and release with a sound. But they really do it until they almost start running out of breath, until you start to feel tired. Then you don't feel like smoking anymore. I also recommend conscious smoking. In other words, you're aware of the fact that I am somehow paying to damage my own health. I wonder why that is. But not attacking the smoke. You're not saying like, oh my goodness, here I'm smoking again. I'm such an idiot. I shouldn't be doing that. No, that is not what you want to do. All right. But when you practice mindful smoking, what is happening is that you are paying attention. Now, I used to be a heavy smoker before, and I can explain to you, I remember this one time specifically where I kind of felt like I couldn't breathe. I didn't smoke for a couple of days, and it was pouring with rain outside. It was the middle of winter in South Africa, in Cape Town, which is very, very cold. And I remember I held it until finally, literally, I felt like I couldn't breathe. Funny enough, I ran to the store, though, in the middle of the night, in the pouring rain, wearing only a shorts and a little vest. And when I finally got that cigarette, I was like, and it felt like my chest opened. So here's a way to see what do you get from smoking. How do you feel before you smoke and how do you feel after you smoke? A lot of times we smoke because we just get a break. You say I can breathe. Okay, now I can think. I can take a little time for myself. So what we were really looking for is taking a little time for yourself. I, funny enough, started smoking when I turned 21. And my two cousins, they came to me very naughty. They came to me and said to me, okay, Adrian, you are a man now. And as a man, you should be able to smoke. You don't have to be a smoker, but you need to know how to smoke. And obviously, by the time I was done practicing how to smoke, I was a smoker. Okay. So what do you get from it? How does it serve you? That's the same thing with the journey of forgiveness. What are you getting out of what you are having? If you don't know what you are getting, if you don't know how it's serving you, if you don't know what it is numbing, you can release, you can clear, you can do whatever you want to do. It's going to keep on coming back repeatedly because you get something from it. All right. And that's what's beautiful about theta healing. And that's what makes theta healing so effective. We don't look at problems. If you look for problems, you're going to find them. Why? Because what you focus on, you create. So what we look for is beliefs. Where was the seed planted? What do you get from it? What is the coping mechanism? If you look at your life, you will see it's the same pattern over and over. There might be different places, situations, circumstances, people, but essentially it's the same thing over and over. What do you get from it? Very important. Okay. Now, another thing that we often do that's also not to our benefit is snacking. Now, every single time when you place anything in your mouth, it doesn't matter what it is, whether it's a chocolate bar or whether it's a piece of tofu, it spikes our glucose levels, it spikes our sugar levels. So if you snack all day long, your body never gets a break. Think about it. All right. So what do you get out of snacking? What do you get from it? How does it serve you? Okay. Because we don't need nearly as much food as we eat as human beings, not even remotely. I spoke in yesterday's lesson quite a lot about the different portions that we have based on our different beliefs and our cultures and where we come from and that sort of thing. Here's how you will know when you truly, truly forgave someone. You will have a sense of gratitude for what happened. You will know how it served you. When you think about it, you will no longer get upset. You will no longer get angry. It won't trigger you. Because remember, when something triggers you, it's triggering something else. You want to know what that is. All right? So, our lungs, they hold regret, sorrow, grief, pain, those sort of things. And a lot of times, these things are very, very ancestral. So you inherited those beliefs. There are, and as I mentioned before, you want to be mindful when it comes to just saying, "Oh my goodness, I'm so prejudiced, I should stop that." Because the prejudice that is completely unacceptable now it somehow served your ancestors. Okay, so go and look at it. What do I get from it? What do I get from not liking this dynamic of humans or, this race or whatever? Maybe it wasn't safe to be, on good terms with them not too long ago, So you are born with that belief that it's not a good thing. And a lot of times that leads to tightness in the chest. Did you ever notice that when you feel nervous, overwhelmed, chest is tight? It's in the lungs, okay? The respiratory system, okay? Because here's the thing. All sorrow started with fear. And sorrow experienced long enough turns into grief. Now, we live in a world where we're not really allowed to grieve. It's normal to grieve for actually up until about 2 years, until we really start getting out of that. And the thing to remember is that when you grieve, all of your cells are grieving. When you are hurting, all of your cells are hurting. Same for when you are happy and hopeful and those sort of things. And based on who you are, what you are focusing on is going to determine what you're aware of, is going to determine what belief in you is going to be active, what hormones go to your body, DNA is unlocked. Long story short, your experience of life. Okay? So, the thing to also remember, even especially with animals, especially with dogs, dogs love us unconditionally. You don't need to change to be with a dog. They don't care whether you own and live in Buckingham Palace or you live in a ditch or under a bridge. They don't care. It's unconditional love. And that unconditional love can serve you very well. I, for example, live in the country, which is so beautiful. But what really brought me here from Cape Town, which I really didn't like, because it's not as friendly as it used to be many years ago, I was looking for a space where my dog could be happy, where my dog could run, where my dog could feel more free. And because of that, can you see that came from unconditional love? That brought me to the country where I am now. Okay. So when we lose an animal, a pet, especially a dog, it's for cats and those as well, but especially for dogs, it actually triggers an entirely different part of our brain. Different neural parts are triggered actually. And it's a deeper kind of hurt because it is the loss of true unconditional love, which when you let it in, also allows you to love unconditionally. All right. So I actually help a lot of people who have got, I help a lot of people who's got some challenges, with their grieving their animals, because we live in a world where you are told you shouldn't be doing this. All right. And grief is something that really affects all of your system, especially the lungs. Okay. So my question is, what is your worst fear? You don't have to put it in the comments if you don't want to, but what is your worst fear? Because your worst fear is your biggest blockage in this world. And this is why I love doing this work that I do, because, even in one session, you can shift so much. It is so incredibly amazing. But for those people that really change and really shift and they're really committed to their change, I always recommend, get that beautiful special, that combo that I offer, where you get 5 sessions and you only pay for 4. You can even share it with someone. You can give one of those sessions as a gift voucher. One of them can be a tarot reading. It's entirely up to you. If you're able to come and see me in person, one of those could be a beautiful Reiki massage. I'm very lenient like that. I just want you to do well. All right. So I want you to know that we all have different parts of ourselves. There's like a survival self, which is all just about keeping you alive. There is your, ego self, which also, by the way, is your friend. Your ego is your friend. A lot of people don't realize that. All right. Your ego is literally just trying to keep you alive. That's all it's trying to do. And it's doing it by saying to you, yo, 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 do you remember what happened last time when we went down this path? Now I'm going to do a beautiful little guided session for you at the end of this. All right. So stay around for that. But I want you to know that your ego is your friend. Your ego is your amigo. The founder of ThetaHealing, Style, always says that your ego must be your amigo, which is very true. All right. Because your ego is trying to keep you safe. It's trying to keep you alive. It's trying to prevent you from being hurt again. Okay. So there's that. There's the survival side trying to keep you alive also and safe. Then there's your undercurrent self, which is always trying to resolve problems. And this could be things that has come into your ancestral lineage. Remember, you create your own experience of life based on who you are. So my strongest recommendation is that you take responsibility for that and not burn too much onto other people. That's a big lesson that I needed to learn. Because whatever happens, no matter how unfair it may seem, I'm not saying you shouldn't speak up for yourself and stand up for yourself, but no matter how unfair it may seem, it is your creation. What do you get from it? What do you get from drama? Maybe you want people to hear you. Maybe you want to stand up for yourself. Sometimes we create a lot of drama to actually motivate us in a different direction. Then we say, like, oh, I wanted to do this, but I can't do it anymore because of this person. No, it's you. We create our own experience of life. Okay? We create it ourselves. All right? And it's wonderful because with Theta Healing work, you get to see what do you get from it. Now, with the package deal that I do, I'm not saying that you must go and say, okay, roll the dice on me and see maybe possibly perhaps, and I work online as well as in person. But So you can book one session, see how it works for you. If you like it, you book you book a package, and then we just deduct that money from what you already paid. End of story. No worries. Easy peasy. Okay. So I'm also going to, at the end, I'm going to sort of like teach you how to balance. Remember, I've been teaching a lot of things through all of these things, how to balance your survival self so that you can resolve the problems that you are dealing with. But you can do so in a way that is ethical towards the self. It's not this horrific, overwhelming experience that always feels like it's trying to ruin your soul. Because nobody likes that. It's not nice. All right? You don't have to resolve your problems that way. Okay. So, because the thing is, even when we do initiations, they always feel like there's death, but it's little deaths to the ego. Okay. So, crying is such a good thing for you, because crying is part of processing. We live in a world that men shouldn't cry, and even where women are expected to cry. You know what I mean? But crying is a normal thing. It helps you to process. It's actually one of the best things that you can do for yourself. And I do know that when we are in very deep fear, we often experience that as, lethargy, just feeling blah. That's normally deep trauma. And I remember for many years, all I desperately wanted to do was cry. And I couldn't, because I was so, inside of my trauma. And we want to see what do you get from that as well, because sometimes we've got a fear, if the damn wall breaks, then I lose all control. And if you're going to believe that you're going to lose all control, your system won't let you process it. That is why you go into that numb feeling where you don't feel what you are experiencing, because, it's that ego death that I was talking about. Your system goes like, nah, you're going to self-destruct, can't feel, won't feel, let's numb it down. And if you won't listen, let's give you some other drama to deal with. So do you see how we sometimes create our own drama to keep ourselves safe? Because when you are really at peace, when you are really happy, you don't need drama. And even if the drama comes your way, you'll be like, not going to do this. Yeah. So, and it's all lung stuff. It's all lung stuff. Sometimes we just want to be heard. So we want to tell that person off. Let me tell you, you piece of slime. But sometimes you want to be heard. The trauma wants to be heard. I want you to know that all of these parts, we're so much in the world about, want to heal this and mother wound and empath wound and witches wound and whatever wounds and this and this and that and dark side. None of these parts want to be healed, because they all just are. They want to be acknowledged. Every now and then they'll pop up again. It's like, I'm aware of you. No worries. I'm here. I see you. No need to throw a tantrum. Because have you seen that the more you ignore the heavy things that come up, the heavier they become? It's like trying not to feel anxiety. You just, as a result, you feel more anxiety. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So where did the fear start? Because that shows to you the sorrow. And a lot of times it's in childhood. A lot of times it's inherited. Yes? A lot of times it's inherited. Most of the time, in actual fact. A lot of times we have this specific experience in childhood based on what we actually inherited. Very powerful stuff. Okay? New spin on things. All right? It's so beautiful when I scan the body of a client. When your lungs are good, so you release the sorrow and the fear and those sort of things. The lungs are happy, they light, they're full of joy, they sparkle. It's beautiful. It's almost like when I scan the skeletal system, it also sparkles in all these beautiful colors. Okay? It's quite amazing. Or it's really, really amazing. And I want you to know that your lungs are affected by your relationship with love. So if you're in a good space, you're all flowing, everything is good, you've got a faith and trust in life, your lungs are good. It lets new air in. Think about it. If you can let new into your life, if you can have faith and trust, if you can have peace, if you can have confidence, you can have motivation, belief that life will get better, there's this great source that's taking care of you, you breathe easily. But when you don't, and when you're rigid and you're afraid and you try to be preventative, and and that is what survivors do. We always, like as survivors, we always try to control the situation, control the narrative, because it gives us a sense of control, which makes us feel safe. But then you're very uptight and you're very chest, and people's like, what's going down with you? Y'all need to calm down. But they can't calm down because they've got to believe that if they calm down, that everything is going to go, haywire. Yes. Sounds familiar? Know somebody like that? Maybe it's you. All right. Used to be me. Quite a lot. Another thing is that when you don't take enough water in, just regular general water, your lungs will suffer. Because remember, you consist predominantly of water. And water is, water itself, it helps the body. Okay? And if you don't have enough water, problem, my friend, problem. And you'll be surprised how many people's problem is there with water. Sometimes people come to me, and they're so tight and they don't know what to do and stuff like that. And they're like, I tried this and this and that. And I'm like, well, how's your hydration levels? Because I can see, psychically, I can see when you are drained, And then even when they don't even drink water, just take their hands, like, you take your hands, and you just imagine here the back where your kidneys are. You just rub it. All right? You do that. Your body believes that you are hydrated. Yes? Hey. Bruna. Okay? So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Okay? And here's the thing. If you can observe something, if you can see it, it's not who you are. Because the true self of who you are cannot be observed. The true self of who you are, it just is. Everything else is just roles that we play. Now, a lot of times in life, either you're new to spirituality, or, a lot of times people are, you're looking for a way. Maybe you've been feeling very lost in your life. Maybe you didn't gel so well with religion, all that sort of stuff. Now I'd be like, oh, I'm a starseed and I was in Atlantis and this and that and this and that and this and that and this and that. Those are all just versions of you. Everybody has that. Because we are all one. We are all connected. We are all existing within the one light of creation. So we all have it. We're all connected. So be very careful of attaching to these labels. And the more we attach to labels sometimes, and the more closer we hold them for dear life, a lot of times it's because you're looking for direction in your life. You're looking for purpose in your life. Yes? So what are you truly looking for? And you will see when people are looking for purpose in their life, they're going to hold on to whatever they have for dear, dear life. For dear life, whatever role they're playing. But know that you are all of it. Okay? And technically none of it. Because it's all just an illusion. I've got this beautiful 7 Hermetics Principles course, which speaks about the all, how we all exist as a thought within the mind of the all. That's profound stuff. Links for my courses in the description. Okay? All about self-empowerment and growth. Now, Vina Stibel, the founder of ThetaHealing, says that chlorophyll is an amazing supplement to take. It's great for skin problems, even body odor if you struggle with that. Certain cancers, really just across the body to help you to release tension and fear, because the better the body feels and the better the body's doing, the more it will be willing to, be more accommodating of your ideas and your thoughts. We are one big system. And all of these things we have are just tools, tools that we are having, that we are learning to master on this planet. Your body, your thoughts, your emotions, your mental state, it's all just tools. Yeah. When you look at me, this isn't me. This is a representation of who I am. The true me cannot be named. It cannot be pinpointed, but we know that it's there. And the true me is you, and the true you is me. We are one. Okay? And the thing is also, our lungs are they're very, very sensitive to emotions. Okay? So remember, when you don't feel so good, you are nervous, whatever, your chest tightens, it closes. Yeah. When you feel good, you can breathe. You can do stuff that you've never done before. Even if you feel you're a bit unfit, you suddenly fall in love. You get what you want to do. Baby, you are breaking it down. Yes? Yes. Because love is who we are. Okay? And it's always inviting us back, even through challenging situations sometimes. Okay? Did you know that kids that play outside, their lungs develop better, their immune system develop better? And this is especially important in our more westernized living these days. Because in a city itself, there's so much pollution in the air, it's ridiculous. But your beautiful body is able to deal with it, but it needs movement and it needs the bit of fresh air that it can get. And your senses need stimuli to look at flowers, to see, to have your heart touched by babies and puppies and all those sort of things. It's not silly stuff. These things really help you. Okay? Kids with asthma, for example, they were usually under, or even any respiratory problems, they were usually under pressure as children. So let's just put it all together. As a child, your consciousness, your mind, your awareness, your brain, so to speak, your logic, if you want to call it that, isn't so fully developed yet. So if you deal with trauma and challenges and things like that, you don't actually know how to deal with it. So you can't process it, which means you have to find a way to cope with it. It's like open tabs on a computer. And you can have the best operational system, best computer, best internet connection in the world. If there are too many tabs open, eventually it slows down the whole system. That's why I recommend you look at all these different videos that I do, because they're meant to help you. They're meant to help you. Yes. So when you look at kids with asthma, they were under pressure. They didn't know how to cope with it. The system took strain. So there was fear that turned into sorrow that is now grief. And then you are creating life from that point. And we say, why isn't life working out? And we try to resolve the problems. Where in actual fact, what you want to do, you want to go to the cause. And sometimes it seems like the cause has got nothing to do with the problem. But, typically when you have challenges with trust, love, if you feel lonely, not doing good with money, either you can't get it or you get it and it disappears quickly every time you have it, there's a hole to fill with it. Every time you owe somebody anything like that, there is a survival or victim mentality going on. And it could even be a perpetrator mentality to show to people, I don't have what I need and I will obligate you to take care of me. We do that sometimes, subconsciously. So you understand, what do you get from it? How does it serve you? Where did you learn it? So that you can heal it. We can't heal what we don't know we have. And forgiveness is something that you do for yourself. Okay? Grief. Unexpressed grief. Grief not released. Long-time grief. Eventually affects the lungs because they're stored in the lungs. Then you get tired and, again, you get those sluggish feelings. Yes? Now, grief is a very difficult thing to deal with because we experience a loss already, which affects the lungs. And when you hurt, when you grieve, when you feel a sense of loss, all of your cells are feeling that. So that is why it's important to do healing on all of the levels of who you are and to meet you with kindness. Kindness, generosity, respect, compassion. Okay. And as I said, grief in itself, about 2 years, then you can start releasing and working at it. But I support people through different levels of grief. Because there's a true sense of loss, because you had an idea of how life is going to be. And now it's not that way. And your mind is trying to cope with it. It's not weakness or anything like that. It's even like when we, let's quickly look at like things like pity and sympathy and those type of things. It's like this beautiful story that my ThetaHealing coach was telling in class. So if you imagine somebody falls over a hill, but it's going to be like, oh, shame, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Oh, a little bit over the top. Okay. Sympathy is going to be like, oh, that's really sad. Let me write you a nice little note. Dear unfortunate person, you know. Empathy is going to jump down with you. Now you're both hanging on this cliff, hanging on for dear life. Two blind people leading each other across the highway, often seeing that as honorable and confusing that with compassion. But compassion is aware of what's going on. So sorry that happened to you, not taking anything personally, not buying into the drama. Okay, let's see how we can best resolve this for everybody. That's compassion. Compassion is what you want. In compassion, we can help someone else without buying into the fallacy that we have to have any of these dramatics and sacrifice ourselves and, oh, shame, you're doing so bad, let me do bad with you. Or even what a lot of healers and people have that, let me take on the bad. I can carry it for you. I am the strong, powerful light. All just ego, looking for somewhere to fit. Okay? It's just how it is. Okay? Even the belief that you must be strong can block the natural grieving process, and it's all in the lungs. It's often seen that when people, develop illnesses, there was a great grief that was unprocessed. So if you come to me with a health condition, I'm going to want to know, okay, well, I'm going to listen to what Creator's telling me, but typically, about 2 years before this happened, what happened in your life? What went wrong? What changed? What was the challenge? Because by the time your body gets an illness and a disease, it is screaming at you, it's shouting at you. And then we even ignore that. By the time the body whispers to it, we ignore it. Oh, I shouldn't feel so sensitive. And, I shouldn't hop on this and hang on to this. But that's the time that you want to listen. Yes? So by the time you get an illness, a disease, the body's screaming for you, you want to go ahead and definitely get yourself some help. Work with your medical practitioner, but also that'll be an excellent idea time for you to get those 5 sessions where you pay for 4. Because what has got you here? And by attacking the illness or disease, you are making it even more wrong. It's like a child who's sad because something happened and you go like, slap, you idiot, letting something so small bother you. That's what we do with our systems. We're very unkind to our inner child, and we're very unkind to our inner adult, and our inner person just trying to find the way. Life is a bit challenging sometimes, stressful. We live in a cray world, Lungs have a lot to do with letting go of the past, to be in the now, to detach from the future. That is a lot easier said than done. To be in the now, to detach from the future. But until you haven't resolved the fears of the past, it ain't happening. Because your mind's going to say to you, listen, you need to find a way here. Otherwise, things are going to be bad. Yes? That little ego, that survival cell, that undercurrent trying to resolve things. All right? Let me just see. It's always a good idea to check your living surroundings for everything in the air. But for example, when somebody comes and see me who lives in a, sort of like a mine sort of community, like a mining community, they will normally seem very aggro and very like, they just want to take you on. But what is at the bottom of it? Sadness, fear. Nobody acts out because they're so happy. You know what I mean? So just imagine the difference. I just want you to imagine on your worst day. We all have those days. We lash out, we sort of burn on people who didn't do us wrong. We all do that. I actually recently do that now. I had to go to someone. I said, listen, I'm very, very sorry. I was very wrong. I really shouldn't have, I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have spoken to you like that. I took my frustrations out of you. But what do we often do? We realize that and we go like, nope, deserve it. And we justify in our mind why they deserve it. As I said, I think it was in yesterday's video, day number 4, just the fact that you need to have that conversation with yourself, that justification normally means there's something to look at. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And you can be serious about your life and about your patterns and healing and release, but don't get so serious that you forget to be playful and childlike, not childish, childlike. Also, remember in previous videos, as I shared with you before, a lot of times the reason why people are childish is because they experienced trauma at a certain age and then they got trapped there. They couldn't develop further because remember, the trauma keeps you stuck. You can't process it. It's a tab that's open on your computer. Yeah. So let's have compassion for others, and especially let's have compassion for yourself. Compassion for the self. All right. Not because you're a good person or because they're a good person or because just because when we don't have compassion, typically we suffer. I'm not recommending that you have to go throw yourself under the bus for other people here either. Okay. Something quite interesting that I actually found out during this coaching is that because we consist so much of water, every day we breathe out about a pint of water, which is about 500 mils. It's quite interesting. And when it's cold, you can see it. And sometimes we think that we only breathe out because it's cold, you can see it. It's always there. You just, because obviously it's warm air hitting cold air, it solidifies and you can see it. You're creating little clouds. You see what a magical miracle you are. Yes? Okay. Also, this is just for interest's sake, but I thought I'll share it with you anyways. Do you know that the deeper you dive, the more air you use? And that's why, like when divers, they understand that and those type of things. Okay. And also at higher altitude, water boils faster. Quite interesting, right? All right. So I just want to do a little bit of a guided session for you, with your permission. I want you to be in a space where it's safe for you to relax, your neck, your back, your shoulders, everything is supported. So you can just take a nice relaxing breather. If you can have about 5 to 10 minutes afterwards, maybe write in your journal, that's even more amazing. And you can take this more than once. Okay. And if you want to have more sort of detailed, deeper dive, guided meditations, take a look on my YouTube channel under the playlist ThetaHealing. There's quite a couple. They're all for free. Just go and have a look. And the guided sessions that I have, they don't have ads and stuff in between. All right. Okay. So if you are ready, I want you to just take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through the mouth. Another nice deep one in through the nose, into the muscles, in the chest, filling the abdominal cavity. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Hold the breath and let go. Now that is a conscious breath. Now I want to do an awareness breath. So I want you to be just aware of the breathing going in through your nose, past your sinuses, in through the back, down the larynx, down the throat, into the lungs. And then the blood absorbs the oxygen and goes through your whole body, takes the breath everywhere. And you're just aware of releasing and letting go, just aware of the breathing. I want to take a nice deep conscious breath in. And with that awareness breath, where you're just aware, you release that breath. And your consciousness just goes down into the earth, down into Mother Gaia, connecting to this beautiful planet. I want you to imagine that you are gathering energy from beautiful Mother Gaia and use a breath to gently pull it up through your feet, your legs, your energy centers, your whole body, every muscle, every molecule, every cell, every emotion, every feeling, every thought, to fill your entire being with it, your skin, the energy around you, until it pops up in a ball of light above your head. Notice the color and the texture of that ball of light. And then place your consciousness inside. You can even imagine moving beyond the moon and the planets and the sun and the stars, out into the universe and beyond the universe, on the journey to connect with the creator of all that is. Keep your eyes closed throughout the journey, so you can really beautifully travel into this beautiful space, in through many different layers of life. All these beautiful, vibrant colors of the rainbow, bright layers and dark layers, bright layers and dark layers, bright layers and dark layers, into a golden space beautiful welcoming space that puts you at peace and at ease and comforts and relaxes you. Take another breath and keep on moving up in your ball of light, in through a jelly-like substance, which are the laws of the universe. And here you might become aware of even more vibrant, bright colors. All sorts of symbols and maybe astrology and numerology and all those sort of things, beautiful vibrations and sounds. You just keep on moving up, 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 and you notice above you this beautiful, gentle pink mist, which is the law of compassion. And allow your ball of light to move into this beautiful pink mist and to surround you and to let you know that you are safe and that you are supported. You can even imagine that beautiful, gentle pink mist permeating the walls of your ball of light and touching your skin in the most gentle, peaceful, calming way, easing your senses and your mind. And then you notice in the distance there's this beautiful square opening like a doorway, a gateway, a window. And allow this gentle pink mist, this energy of compassion, to take you to and through the space into the vast open space of the creator of all that is. Your ball of light opens and dissolves in this space, and you become one and part of this beautiful, gentle, tinkling energy of the creator of all that is. You can feel it in your skin. And you just keep on moving up into this beautiful light space. And when you think creator, you are there, just moving up into this beautiful, beautiful space. And then I want you to allow the creator to show you how everything in life simply comes and goes. Days, experiences, weeks, months, years, lifetimes, you just come and go. Everything just comes and goes. But the only constant is the creator. And because we are one and part with the creator, you are constant and you are eternally safe within the light of the creator. Now breathe in that beautiful light, that unconditional love, that unconditional acceptance. Breathe it in. And as you release that breath, let it imagine, envision, experience it flowing into the top of your head like this beautiful white waterfall of light through every muscle, every molecule, every cell, every part of your being, to really truly put you at peace and at ease. Now I'm going to ask the creator to balance your survival self, to balance your undercurrent, to balance your ego, so that you can become aware of what's holding you back. You can become aware of your trauma. You can become aware of your fears. You can become aware of what it is that you're ready to release through the journey of forgiveness, and to grow and to expand and to benefit from that and to expand your abundance peacefully, easily, and effortless in your highest and best interest. Ask the creator to balance your respiratory system, to balance the breath that you are breathing, your relationship between the breath and you and life, because you are life and life is you. You are the breath of life and the breath of life is you. To balance your entire body, your thoughts, your mind, so that your body is a beautiful space to live in. And if you agree to this, then I want you to out loud say yes, and I will make the command, the request from the creator. So if you're saying yes, I'm making the request, creator of all that is, it is commanded or requested in your truth and perspective, in the highest and best interest of my cosmic sibling listening right now, to download from these feelings, to balance them in ways that only serve their highest and best interests across all belief levels, across all languages, all times, all spaces, all possibilities, core genetic history and soul, across all of who they are in the highest and best interest. Show them when and why and how it is possible, and how they already are living and benefiting from this beautiful balanced system. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Show me. I want you to imagine standing on the edge of the universe with the creator, looking down at your life in a ball of light, and from the purest part of creator's light, you are just witnessing, not making, not forcing, witnessing, imagining, experiencing, feeling this beautiful energy coming down. And I also like to ask the creator to download for you any instant healings, any instant clearings that is available to you right now. And if you agree with this, out loud say yes, so that all your molecules and all your consciousness can hear you. And again, standing on the edge of the universe, you witness with me. However you witness, experience, feel, whatever you get, From the purest part of Creator's light, it's coming down, and feel what it feels like. Open your heart to your birthright of peace and abundance, joy and lightness, so that your life can get better and better all the time. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Show me. And just a couple of more downloads. I'm first going to say to them, please listen to them. If there's one that you don't agree with, you can just say no thank you to that one. Okay? I know what it feels like to feel the freedom and peace within my heart. I know what it feels like to live a life free of grief and free of sorrow. I know what it feels like to become aware gently of what it is that's holding me back, so that I can release it gently for my own highest and best interest. I know what it feels like to live a beautiful life that is at peace and at ease. And I know what it feels like to live my highest and greatest potential in this world. I know what it feels like to live in a body that is healthy, that is at peace. I know what it feels like to live in a mind that is at peace. I know what it feels like to live in a heart that's at peace. I know what it feels like to look forward to life, free from the past, excited by the future, but to be present in the here and the now. I know what it feels like to know that for me, the best is yet to come, but at this moment, right here and right now, is perfect. If you're saying, if you agree to this out loud, say yes. And then let's witness together again from the purest part of Creator's light, that energy coming down. And can we also ask Creator's love to release from you any and all heaviness, attachment that you are ready to release in your highest and best interest? Yes? Yes. I want you to witness, imagine, experience from the purest part of Creator's light, Creator's energies coming down, resolving, releasing all knots, all vows, all past life vows, anything that blocks you, releasing it up to Creator's light, getting beautiful fractals of light coming in, on a beautiful, gentle integration, no negative side effects, for your highest and best interest, so that your life can get better and better all the time. And just a couple of more downloads. I know what it feels like to live in a mind that is free, in a heart that is free, in a life that is free. I know what it feels like to live the most beautiful experience of life. Thank you. It is done. It is done. It is done. Show me. Witnessing with me if you said yes. And now I want you to take your consciousness up to the Creator's light, that beautiful space of unconditional love and support. And I want you to imagine being with the Creator, feeling the Creator's hand holding yours and letting you know, nodding, saying that you are ready, communicating with the heart. And in front of you, there's this beautiful pool of light. I want you to step through this pool of light to release and let go of any sorrow, any pain, any fear that you are ready to release and let go of, to come out on the other side, reborn, rebirthed, transformed, lighter, ready to live your greatest experience of life, ready for your life to get better and better all the time for your highest benefit. Breathe in the unconditional light of the Creator. As you release it, let it flow into the top of your head in the most beautiful, gentle, calm way, through your body into the earth. And making an agreement to deal with the earth, to be at the right place at the right time, the right synchronicities, miracles, meeting the right people, gaining the right experiences before you even know that you need it. So your life gets better and better all the time. If you agree to, I want you to breathe it and use your breath to pull it up from the earth. And you pull up energy, vitality, consciousness, the essence of life, the awareness of life, the presence of life, knowing who you are, feeling yourself in your body, revived, energized, revitalized, ready to live your greatest experience of life. Fill yourself with that energy, balance and center it in your heart. And when you're ready, you open your eyes. And you look around you to make sure everything is nice and bright. And if it's not, you just take another deep breath in, release the breath, let your consciousness go into the earth, draw energy from the earth, fill your whole body with the vitality, balance and center in your heart, and open your eyes. And I look super, super forward. How was that for you? Let me know in the comments. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do. I look super forward to see how this is for you. And if you listen to now, I want you to write in the comments, I claim my freedom now. I claim my abundance now. Yes? I look forward to connecting with you on the next video.